one day I was in the Canada store and I saw my apps feature image right there at the top. It was really exciting to see it. It took me by surprise. Um, and I never really went back and tried to figure out why it was featured. So this video is dedicated to that, and hopefully we can find some hidden gems that you could use in your game development and hopefully get a feature. I don't have to go into why it's cool to have a feature. I mean, I think we all know. But for those who don't, feature can bring you thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of additional downloads. So yeah, it's really cool to get one. So a little bit of background for the game. About 9 years ago, I was looking for an idea for my first game. My daughter was 2 years at the time, and she had been playing with this magnetic toy that we had on the fridge, and it had these letter cutouts, and she would take the A and put in it's kind of like a puzzle, and put it where it fits, and I would say that's an A, and then she would take the B, and I would say the name of the B. The name of the letter, that's a B, and so forth. And my wife used to do it also in Spanish. Anyways, I thought this would be a great idea to automate. So for some reason, I did not know about Unity back then. I wish I had, because it would have made my life so much easier. You have to remember, I was developing in native iOS using Xcode, Objective-C, which is one of the weirdest languages I've ever worked on. You have all these little brackets upon brackets and these long naming conventions, and coming from the Java world, it just drove me nuts. Like all things, once I got used to it, it was okay. But just a little bit of a background. Objective-C was created out of when Steve Jobs went to Next Step, and he came back. He wanted to use his I guess part of what he had done at Next Step. So I call it objectifying the C language. So they basically place a wrapper around C, the language C, and that's why you see all these NS objects when you're coding Objective-C. NS stands for Next Step, which was that the company that Steve Jobs started when he got kicked out of Apple. In any case, where was I? So Cocos 2D is what my research led me to. Cocos 2D is a free 2D framework that I could plug into my native code, my native Objective-C code. There were tidbits of C++, if I remember correctly, and I believe also I could interact with it with Objective-C. But anyways, so yeah, I mean, that was pretty rough getting used to it. Again, compared to Unity is just makes your life so much easier. I mean, when you're writing native code, you have to write everything. The whole game engine, had to write from scratch. Anyways, I went a little off course. Sorry about that. But yeah, so that's the background. So let's get to tip number 1 is keep it simple. This being my first game, I had read enough and done enough projects in the past, not related to game development, but I knew I had to keep it simple to finish it. It's all about baby steps. Once you finish something, you get that oomph, you get that belief in yourself, and that's almost more important than actually releasing the game and making money from a game. If it's gonna, at the beginning, it's really getting something done that you did yourself, and it just did so much for me. I mean, once every project that I've finished, I get that confidence in myself, and now it's at the point where any project I want to do, I know I can finish it, and that's why I'm very sensitive about the projects or picky about the projects I get involved in, because I know if I start it, I'm gonna have to finish it, unless I learn something along the way that's an eye-opening experience where I kind of have to stop it. But anyway, so if you keep it simple, you can finish the project. And another thing is you also can build a more polished app with your limited resources. I mean, you're an indie dev, right? So how are you going to build a Mortal Kombat game? I mean, we all want to build our childhood dream game. For me, that would be Mortal Kombat 2. Actually, that got me into game development. Was Mortal Kombat 2. I played it in an arcade when I was like 11 years old, and the characters were so lifelike. The characters were so lifelike. It just blew my mind, and I was like, I want to do this. I want to develop this. That's how I kind of got into the whole wanting to be a game developer. Anyway, it took about 30 years before I got there. But anyways, so yeah, keep it simple so you can finish the project and so that you can build a polished project. Because it was a simple game, only had to create a few levels, a few pieces of graphics, and one of the main ones were basically the kind of like simulating the board that we had on the fridge, where we had all the cutouts of the letters, and I wanted to give a nice earthy feel, so I put a nice wooden high-resolution background in the back, and I made the colors really, the letters very colorful, so they would pop out, and kids would like it, and then want to kind of play with it and touch it. I also added some stickers some sticker packs when the kids finally finished the puzzle. A little song would play and hands would clap, and then there'll be a little sticker pack where if it's like a goat, you touch it and it'll make a goat sound. I had this funny laughing dinosaur, which kids really liked, and for some reason my daughter really liked to just move all the stickers off the screen. It's funny, but anyways, so yeah. So tip number 3 is know your audience. So this was awesome. I mean, it was my daughter I was working with. I knew my audience. I could put a face on it, on my audience. Age group were kids who are learning the alphabet. 2 to 5 years old. So using that, I could very specifically create an experience geared towards a target group, which also would make it much easier for me to market and sell later on. So one of the things I found was very early on was that as my daughter was moving the letter, it was very difficult for her underdeveloped motor skills to kind of move the letter exactly, to the cutout. Let's say it was an A to the A. So to make that easier, I would kind of, make it so that if she was in the vicinity of where the letter should be, it would snap in, and that was a big help. Now, if I didn't have my target audience there with me to test it out, I wouldn't have stumbled upon that. So, I knew my target audience and I developed for my target audience, and that was a big help. So tip number 4 would be get to testers early on in your game and iterate very fast and small increments. I was testing this out on my daughter like about twice a week, and I could very quickly kind of adapt it to fit her needs. So it's very awesome. Instead of just me developing something that I think I should develop, I developed it to my target audience, to her needs. You might think what your target audience wants, but from my 20 years of programming experience and developing all kinds of apps and different initiatives, I can tell you I don't know what people are thinking, what people want. So you rely on others' input. Tip number 5 is focus all your efforts on one platform, or at least at the beginning. Don't try and build something for both iOS and Android. Try and make it perfect on one platform. Now, I don't know how much that actually counts these days, because with Unity, the overhead of developing for one platform versus the other is so small. I mean, Unity does so much for you. So this might not count as much anymore, but let's just say what I did is I focused on iOS, and I focused on specific features that were in iOS. Like you could actually, the kid, I had this one thing where kids could position their letters to spell out their names, and if they get it correctly, it would I would know. And I used the feature that was available in iOS. I forgot what it was called right now, but that was really cool. And then also I built specifically for iPads, and I think because it looks so good on iPads, I think that was the reason I got the feature on the Apple Store. Tip number 6 is try to build for a niche market. I mean, we all know that the App Store is just getting saturated like crazy. So, and that's probably not going to change. It seems to me every year is getting more difficult to get noticed. So yeah, if you could find a niche market, a smaller market to build for, then maybe your chances of getting discovered if you build a really polished app would be higher. I built specifically for kids, a certain age group. iPads. It wasn't for the iPhone, and also this actually counted a lot. I believe I had my spoken language in English, Spanish, and French. My family actually did the recordings of those, of the alphabet in different languages. But I think because I had both the English and the French in there, that's one of the big reasons I got the feature in the Canada App Store, because I speak both English and French. So yeah, see if you can build for a niche market. Tip number 7, don't focus on the money. If you build something good, hopefully the money will come, or the chances are higher that the money will come. But if you enjoy the process, if you enjoy the journey, I think that will shine through in your work. Because I didn't build just to make money, but I built something that, I wanted to build for my daughter. I wanted her to learn the alphabet, and actually she learned the alphabet with this thing in about 3 days. It worked extremely well, and both Spanish and English. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, once I gave it to her, 3 days later she knew the whole alphabet. But anyways, so yeah, just enjoy it, have fun with it. If you have fun with it, the chances are much higher you're going to finish your project. And that is extremely important, especially at the beginning. You gotta finish your projects. If you don't finish your game, you're just gonna, if you just leave it at 50%, next time around, it's just, you gotta remember that it's gonna stay with you. Like, oh man, I can't finish things. You gotta finish your projects. This is very, very important. But anyways, so, those are my 7 tips. I hope it helped you. Again, this is 9 years ago that I got this feature. I don't know. I haven't got one since then. I don't know exactly what people are doing these days to get a feature. I kind of have to read up on it. I know some people are trying to get a contact at Apple, to reach out to them. I usually try to go the route of just building really cool apps, polished apps. for a specific market, and then the chances are higher. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give a like and a subscribe. Every time you subscribe, every time I get a new subscriber, I get a little dopamine rush. It wakes me up a bit. So anyways, thank you so much. Bye bye.